Hello everyone, Vermilion here. I'm dropping in to show you a surprisingly consistent method to reach round 100 on Ashes of the Damned in Black Ops 7 Zombies. After testing strategies from the beta, experimenting with new routes that only held up to the mid-50s, and sinking over 14 hours into this map already, this is easily the most reliable way to unlock the Another Round Dark Ops calling card. Before we jump in, everything you're about to see was recorded live over on Twitch. If you're craving more Black Ops 7 content, feel free to come hang out over there, and if this guide helps you out, I'd really appreciate a like, subscription, or even a comment. Thanks for all the support, guys, but let's get started. We're doing this on Ashes of the Damned, mainly because a lot of things have been hit with some serious nerfs. The Arc XD timers got slashed, the Saw Trap lost a noticeable amount of range, elites feel like they punch through you even with solid augments, and a bunch of other augments either don't kind of behave the same or were toned down a little bit. PhD Slider especially feels a little weaker. Basically, most things either got nerfed or feel dramatically different after round 55, so maps like Farm Survival are way tougher for high rounds at the moment. No simple camping spots exist just yet, but I am still working on a strategy for that one. With that out of the way, let's break down the loadout that makes this whole method work. We're going over the perks and augments you absolutely need, starting with Juggernog. You're going to want to run reactive armor and hardened plates. I also use durable here since my Juggernog research is maxed. Stamina up, you'll want to go with Free Faller and Hard Target. Quick Revive, I use Dying Wish, and if you've unlocked it, Emergency Medical Kit for an extra revive from the bench. Speed Cola, you will want to run Supercharged and Fast Pitcher, which will drastically speed up equipment usage and help regenerate your field upgrades faster, something that becomes brutal in late rounds. For Vulture's Aid, you'll want to run Parting Gift and Picky Eater to keep your wallet healthier and prevent unnecessary spending early on. Depth Perception, I use Treasure Hunter for bonus drops specifically from the Zursas we killed. PhD Flopper, I use PhD Slider and Tribologist. Even with the slide nerf, it's still solid movement against super sprinters late game. Deadshot, I use Deadhead and Dead Break. For Double Tap, I use Double Standard and Double or Nothing. These help shred Zursas depending on your loadout, especially with the Akita shotgun. For Elemental Pop, you've got two strong routes here depending on how you want to handle the first half of the run. Imperial Peach for constant AAT activations because you're going to always be hit, or Electric Cherry paired with Vulnera Bean, which is insanely strong for the Zursa melt potential. If you have space, add Refreshment on top to help keep that Zursa damage flowing every single round. As for the ammo mods, your main star is Napalm Burst. Right now, it is low-key secretly the best thing in the game, at least for the enemies that we're fighting on these maps currently. You'll want to run Big Game so that way you can pop it on the elites, i.e. the Zursas, and they are really weak to it. And for the minor mods, I would run Extension first, because that guarantees that it burns and kills them. Then, if you have the extra slot, add Contact Burn. That way it melts it even faster. If you want to incinerate Zursas like they're oversized honey-eating bears, this is the mod. As for weapons, use anything with a low magazine size that can nail long-range shots, marksman rifles, slug shotguns, you name it. We want to ensure the Napalm Burst procs as often as possible, and the lower mag size typically helps with this. I personally ended up using an LMG at a distance. Not ideal, but it worked fine due to the point situation I will talk about later. Your field upgrades should be Frenzy Guard early on because you'll be camping most of the time, and Frenzy Guard, if you don't know, is amazing when it comes to just sitting in one spot early on. I use Frenzied Fire, which pulls ammo from the stock, and Extension to make it last longer. Ether Shroud will be used for late game as a get out of jail free card, preferably with the extra charge augment as well, that way you have more chances to use it. And finally, this strat is going to require the Kazimir, which you either are going to unlock it at level 48, I think it is, or pray it drops. Once you get it, don't let it out of your hand. For the strategy breakdown, as you open the map, go ahead and turn on Pack Punch, gather your perks, leave this door near the Saw Trap and Ashwood closed. This prevents zombies from flanking you later during the high round rotation, and during setup, prioritize pulling a ray gun out of the box or from Chompy. It speeds up early rounds and keeps your points high. The Napalm Burst combined with the ray gun makes Zursas manageable until you're fully built. Once you've got all the perks and both weapons upgraded, pick a high ground location with an ammo box. There are two locations that I use. The first one is the Van Dorn Farm location on the hay bale from the beta. Good old reliable, right? Number two is this box I found underneath the Rocket in Zarya Cosmodrome. Both are great for sprinting through the rounds with or without the Rampage Inducer. With the right augments, your ray gun practically refills itself through drops, saving you massive amounts of points. When a Zursa spawns, you're going to want to toss a Kazimir to lock it down, basically like right in front of where you're standing. And once it jumps up, or once it's inside the Kazimir, it's going to start taking damage. So what you do to keep it from running through it, you're going to stun the Zursa by popping a spore with the ray gun while it's inside, or you can let the Napalm Burst burn it alive. Either way you go for it, make sure you get that going. It makes going through rounds very, very easy. Now, while you're actually going through rounds, you will want to make sure that old Tessie is parked outside of Van Dorn Farm for a quick teleport access later. I stayed in between these two areas up until round 55, at which point everything becomes super sprinters and you'll just get overwhelmed if you try to do it. I entered the next phase with about 200,000 points saved. So now let's talk about the retirement plan. For rounds 55 and onwards, we are going to have to use the trap rotation. You're going to want to switch to Ether Shroud at this point, and you're going to head off to Van Dorn Farm to start. We're going to wait for zombies to kind of crowd in, come into the map just a little bit before you activate the trap. We don't want to activate it right away. We're trying to get as much use time out of this as possible to save points later. Once you activate the trap, it's pretty much an AFK method at this point. You're going to just sit near it. Don't go too far out, otherwise the zombies are going to hit you. And I just usually stay right behind this part of the truck, and what you're listening for is the Zursas. You're going to jump on top of this truck to see the different Zursa spawn angles. That way you can trigger Napalm Burst from a distance, and once it's activated, you can either stun it with the ray gun to shoot its spores, that way it just stops and then eventually dies to the Napalm Burst, or just let the Napalm Burst handle it, because sometimes they're so far away if you trigger it that they just die by the time they get up to you. How strong Napalm Burst is. It literally does 120,000 damage a tick at this high of a round. The bears have like 700,000 HP. It's crazy. They are tanks. Now, when the trap is close to timing out after dealing with your Zursas or whatever else spawns in, you'll hear a fast kind of wind up noise, and that's going to be your cue to get out. You're going to get out and head immediately to the launch pad to Ashwood, sprint up this alley, and hit the second saw trap. Sometimes though, enemies take a moment to spawn at the Ashwood trap after you kind of launch in. So if you see nothing like spawning in either through depth perception or you just don't hear anything, just wait a few seconds before activating the trap. They'll eventually come in, and then that's when you want to do it. When it finishes, you're going to teleport or jump back to Van Dorn Farm again, and that's basically the entire loop. I'm not even exaggerating. It's that simple. We got it that brain dead this early on, so that should be just enough for you guys to get another round very easily. As rounds climb though, you'll need to activate multiple traps per round, and that previously closed door becomes vital for your safe movement. Thanks to depth perception helping you find safe spots while running, you have two options by jumping on this balcony, by either escaping into the alley or jumping up to the launch pad that will take you to Van Dorn Farm. If you go through the alleyway, you will need to make your way through, try to avoid any zombies that spawn in from the sides, and jump off the bridge. Once you jump off the bridge here, the teleporter will be right here in the middle. Take that, it'll immediately teleport you into the truck back to Van Dorn Farm. That way you have two different ways out. If things get spicy or Zursa corners you badly, you're going to want to pop Ether Shroud. There are also some instances where you will have to face a Zursa while at the Ashwood location, and that's when you want to use a Kazimir to throw it at the Zursa directly and immediately stun it. I would suggest stunning it instead of using Napalm Burst in this situation, so that way it doesn't attack you and the Kazimir can finish it off. Another note is that even after hitting round 101 and exfilling, I still had over 100,000 points to spare. So don't stress about spending too much money on teleporters or launch pads if you need to like swap weapons to try something else. You do have a little bit of flexing room if you do everything correctly. And between the trap loop, Napalm Burst, spores, and Kazimirs, this method becomes so smooth you can literally sit back for a few moments each round. I mean, like, look at this guy. Look at this guy right here. I'm literally yawning and sitting and laying back in my chair while the trap just does everything. That's how brain dead this strategy is. I can't tell you how easy this is, okay? Once you get it down, once you get the loop going, the only hard part is getting out of the Ashwood alleyway. That's the most dangerous part. If you can get past that and you keep your plates up while you're running, it's free. It's literally free. It just takes a little bit. It's not the quickest, but it's the safest. It's going to get you that another round. It's going to get you done and away from having to go high rounds, and you can go back to farming your camos. That's going to wrap things up for now. I hope this helps you knock out your round 100 run and secure that another round Dark Ops calling card. If you enjoyed the video or have suggestions, drop a comment. You're also welcome to hop into my Discord for more COD and ARC related community stuff. I'll be live again tomorrow running some Dead Ops Arcade 4 before jumping into the Ashes of the Damned Easter egg hunt. So come say hello, and I'll catch you in the next one.